What's going on, guys? Kwasi here, Kwasi Media and Kwasi Animations. Today we're going to do an advanced shader. We're using Videl from Xenoverse 2. I don't even think she has eyebrows, to be honest. Oh, she does. They're just really thin. All right, so let me check on that real quick. So here we go. We're going to start with her bust, and on the principal shader, principal BSDF, I'll just call it the principal shader. There's a metallic, as you can see again, the color change. There's a metallic shader on there. Okay, to get, I guess you would say a deeper tone on a color, you can put the metallic shader on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it like a really bright color like green. So there's no metallic shader on there, right? But when I cut it on, the shader gets darker at the bottom. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset all of that. Excuse me. And now, since the shader's not on there, understand it's still on everything else. That's why everything else looks gray. So let's click the bust again. Go to a relatively skinish tone color. Right about there. We'll make it a little bit darker. That's going to be our set color. All right. Matter of fact, I'll go up some more to right about there. All right. And I'm going to turn the metallic shader on. Turn this off. So now this is where it's set with the metallic shader on it, right? All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and create our anime shader. One control color ramp. I'm sorry if I'm a little off right now, y'all. All right. Layer weight, a shader to RGB node, mix shader, and a mix RGB. All right. I'm gonna set that up really quick, like. All right, so if you're new to seeing this, if you just decided to skip by everything else, the Fresnel goes into the factor of the top color ramp. The color goes to the factor of the mix shader. The shader to RGB color goes to the factor of the bottom color ramp. The color goes to the factor of the mix shader, the mix RGB, and the color of the RGB goes to the top shader of the mix shader. I'm gonna select all of them, hit Control G. Now, on the shader, the mix shader, put it into the output, group output, and the shader to RGB, put it into the group input. Come out of it, hit the shield. That makes a fake user. That means you can use it more than once and in more than one project. And we're just gonna call it Videl shader. All right, so that's done. All right, pull this out a little bit, come over here. All right, so I'm gonna go down in this is my properties tab, properties outliner. This is the outliner, this is the properties tab. Then there's tabs, properties area, and there's tabs on the side of that. We're gonna go to the material properties. So reason for that, because I wanna get to this color right here in the base color. So when I open this up and I go to my mix shader, we're gonna click the top one. We want the top one to be darker. So we're gonna click the base color over here instead of up here, because I wanted to be the exact same color that I picked. And then the bottom one, I'm gonna click the eyedropper, and I'm gonna click this one, and I'm gonna push it up some more to make it lighter. I may even come up some on it to find a lighter shade, so, or go darker here, right? So let me click this one again. I'll just do it like that. And we'll take this one all the way up. All right. For this top ramp, since the layer weight is at 0.5 in the blend, I'm gonna click the first one, and I'm gonna go into this here, and I'm gonna go 0.3. The second one, I'm going to that one on 0, I'm gonna go 0.25. This is gonna give us our outline. Then I'm gonna drop this, I'm gonna pull it and drop it on the line there. All right, the color's gonna change. You see how it changed? This is our anime shader. Now, in this bottom ramp, we're gonna find our bright, see that makes it brighter? All right, so I'm gonna go up on this I'm gonna hit shift, I'm gonna click it. I'm gonna hit shift and click, and then I'm gonna scroll up. So to see how the darkness starts to take over. All right, so I'm gonna come around about the same, about 0.2. And this one do the same, but I'm gonna go to the numbers on this one to give it a little bit more refined. All right, so now we see that that the dark one is up too high, because we're trying to create a shadow. All right, matter of fact, we're not doing that, I'm sorry. We're gonna create enough of a shadow where we see it on the bottom, and we see it on the bottom right here, and those bottom portions here and there. All right, and then I'm gonna push this in some more. Okay, make that a little bit darker, so those are darker. Now, this is where it's gonna start to get different. On the bottom of your principal shader, there is a normal. Okay, so go Shift A S and type in normal. Type in normal. You want to go to normal map. All right. Now the normal map, again, goes with, the normal map has a color on it. All right. Well, since the shader, we no longer can see the shader here, so we're going to open it up. All right, so there's the shader there. I'm going to do the same thing, click color, click the eyedropper. I'm going to pick the shader that we have for our base. I'm going to push it into normal. Okay, it's going to change the way it looks, right? That's because it's on 1, but you see it gives like this almost metallic shine on it. So I'm going to go 0.03. All right, now I went there because I want to start from the bottom, so 0.03. But this is what we're going to do. Inside of where it says strength, we're going to hit shift and then we're going to click and we're going to start to scroll up to get it darker or lighter. Okay, just take your time and look for that space. Now we have this metallic type look on the actual character now. All right, that's what we want to do with the metallic shader. Okay, so now that is done. This is going to be her color. Now I can make this darker, all right, and it'll see how it starts to make it darker on the bottom. And so now when I turn her in different areas, it's going to change. It's not going to stay the same every time I turn her. I know that was kind of dizzyfying, but if I make it darker, then that's the effect. So again, this is about playing with it. Now we understand our roughness is maxed out. That means, in other words, is there's no roughness. This is max roughness, thus making her look like a shiny statue. So we're gonna go back up and I'm gonna keep the roughness at 0 for a reason, because we don't want any roughness, because we're using the normal map, which gives us that effect when we turn sideways. You see that? All right. Now we have all of that done. There's nothing else we're going to do this unless there's something specific that you want to add. Like if you want to do cross hatching or something, that's a whole nother thing. There's a tutorial on that. I'm not going to get into that type of stuff. All right. So here is something I want to show you. All of the places that have skin exposed, right? Like for instance, her legs, her hands, and her bust. Okay. Along with her, where is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is, face and eyes. So we're going to literally hand pick. So we're going to click this one. All right. And then we're going to click bust, because that's the first one we did. Then we're going to control, not shift, control click the other ones, right? All right, I'm still going to do. So now we picked all of those. The one we need to be clicked last is the bust, because that's the one we use because we want it illuminated brighter, right? We're going to hit Control L and we'll go to materials. Now all of those have the same material and she's shaded now. Okay. All right. Now, if you wanted her overall color to be darker, go to her main base color. You can do it here or here. I'm gonna do it over here and you can make it darker, right? Okay. So I'm gonna make it just a tad bit darker. Go back into my shader and I'm gonna pull the dark side up some more. And the light side, I'm gonna take down some more because I wanted to be a little bit sharper where it's at. All right, so there we are. So that has been done. This is your shader for that sorry, don't forget to save that. This will be your anime shader, and this is more of an advanced version of what I made before because of the normal. Because before I did it, I didn't have a normal on it. I know you say it's not a whole lot of difference. There are differences, trust me, because on the other one, it doesn't give the shine. Because if you, excuse me, I'm gonna show you what I mean. Okay, so if I was using the other one, let's say I had a light source in there, right? So I put the light source in, let's just put in a sun. Okay, we're gonna put in a sun. Now, when I come into our actual render preview, right? The sun is not very bright right now, so I'm gonna take the sun up to about 12. Okay, so do you see how the light reflects off of her differently? No matter where you put it, it's going to give you, I'm sorry, let me do this again. So it gives you a different type of, okay, so it reflects the light accordingly. So if it's really right here, then it's going to completely be bright. If it's all the way to the back, it's going to be completely dark. And that's really the whole objective here, is that we want to give that color a specific, we want to have it where it gives you, because no matter where I spin it to, see how that side's going to have shadows? See how there's shadows here? And then the shadows, it gives you the proper tone. The other one doesn't do this at all. It basically, the one I have that I created, that I usually use, actually absorbs light. It doesn't necessarily reflect it. That's why this having a metallic shader on it gives you more of an anime effect. So that was really the whole point in doing it this way. So now I showed you that. I'm not going to really repeat it for everything else because it's not really necessary, because you're going to basically rinse and repeat. Now, the one thing I will show you is, say we're going to do her shirt, right? Don't forget this part. You already created the anime shader. Do not recreate it. It already exists. Shift A, S, and then type in whatever you named it. I'm going to type in Vidal. And it's here already, right? Okay, zoom in on it. Let's say we want the shirt to be white. It's already white. So I'm just gonna bring it down so to make it kind of a grayish color. I'm gonna click the shader, and I'm gonna hit shift. Then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna pick that. I'm sorry, no, I'm not. I messed it up. You're gonna hit this 2. Okay, so before we go in there, click this, hit the 2, because we want to create a new shader. So now this shader is Vidal shader 0.001. Come in here, click this, because we don't want to change the previous one, because that one's attached to her skin. And then here we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to brighten this one all the way up. And for some reason, I'm going to zero that out. All right. I mean, you can go in and reset. I don't think you can. Yeah, you can go in and reset value by clicking the actual thing and clicking this, right? And then going into space and hitting reset value, or you can hit backspace. All right, so I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna drop this on top of here. Okay, so now you see how it looks, right? It's already set. So now what I'm gonna do is come in here and I'm gonna find the dark spot, because I still want that to have that intensity. All right, so it's done. All right, now the normal isn't in there, right? So this is the one thing that we're gonna do, because here we wanted to have the same color that we started with. And that's what we're gonna deal with. And in my case, I'm just gonna zip all these down because I want it to be white. Oh, I messed it up. I want it to be white. I'm gonna plug in the normal. And then I'm just gonna go 0.03 and then hit shift and then scroll until I find how I want it to look. Yeah, there we go. And don't forget to save. So now see how that wherever I'm turning the light, wherever the light reflecting from, is how it's going to reflect. But what I wanted to show you is that every time you want that to have that same look, don't forget to put your normal map in there and make sure that the color is according to the base color. And you can make that color darker if you want. But if you use a blue on top of a yellow, it's not going to really work that well. Like, let me show you what I'm saying. Say like this right here, and I put it at yellow, you're not going to really see it because it's not reflecting the color that it came with. So I'm just going to use the white. So we're just going to stick with the white because that's the color so you have to use the color in the normal map that comes with the actual thing. So there we go. Just don't forget to copy. You can copy and paste it if you want to, but I just want to say, just do this right here, and there it is. There go both of the shaders that I created. And that's pretty much the run of it, guys. So I've over talked the time because I want to do about 10 minutes, but nonetheless, here you go. That's the advanced shader. Just rinse and repeat on everything else. And there you have it. I'm a love from this side.